Hey there YouTube, it's me TFL Wilderness. Welcome to my channel and welcome to the first of this month's Korean toy reviews. So I've got a figure today from the Metal Cardbott toy line. It's a toy line that came out last year and has done quite well in Korea. And they did the whole first season and they bought out 12 new character figures for it. And I bought a couple of them, quite like what I saw, and decided I wanted to go through the whole toy line. They're not perfect. They're a little bit small for what for what it costs to import them from Korea, and they're not the most articulated things as per usual with Korean figures. But they're quite colourful. They've got interesting designs and quite a decent variety of alt modes. So yeah, I've decided to go in, and today's figure is the seventh character to appear, or the seventh character to be captured, because the protagonist kid in the show, Jun, he's got the metal brace, or the metal bracer like watch, and it's like monster of the week type thing. A new character comes along, they cause his trouble, he gets his captured robots out, they battle, they subdue them, he then scans them into his watch, and then he into the brace, and then he uses them in later battles. So, in order of capture of the metal Cardbotts that he's caught, he was now up to number 7 of 12. So the bot today that I am going to show is this guy, Fleta Z. He turns into a jetliner. He's also got a dab hand with a bow and arrow, because his Cardbott weapon turns into a bow, and he's like an archer, and he's quite skilled at archery. His debut episodes are quite good because he's they're one of Jun. So that's Jun there. One of his classmates, a girl, he's on like on an online chat room, and then he sends her a message, almost like I won't say a love letter message, and then so she goes for a meetup, and all of a sudden this big plane comes in and transforms into a robot, and then offers her a rose. And of course, this is a bit of a problem for Jun, because there's another robot on the loose, so he has to deal with it, and it's quite interesting. Yeah, all the episodes that they've uploaded so far are on a playlist, and I have the playlist in my playlists list, so you can go down, you can watch all the episodes they've done so far. The show, they've been doing like live streams where they stream the entire series from start to finish, and you can just watch you can binge watch the whole series. It doesn't take long. The episode's only 10 minutes long, and there's 26 episodes, so yeah, it's a good watch. It's an interesting show. I quite like it, and as far as I'm aware, it's been at least greenlit for second season, so hopefully later this year we'll be getting season 2, and it'd be interesting to see where this show goes from there. So anyway, the box, it's quite a large box, because he's a fairly big figure, and there he is. And obviously it's got stuff on the bottom and the usual sort of product information on the bottom. Right, so that's the box. So here's his alt mode. It's a jet airliner. Now, this isn't the first time I have got a Korean toy that turns into a jetliner, because a couple of years ago I got this guy, Cardbott V Airhide, and I was very impressed with this figure, impressed with it so much that it became the top bot I got in that given month. So it was one of the top bots I got in 2022. So it's a really cool figure, and forms a jet airliner. But this also forms a 4-engine jet airliner. And I thought, well, as I've got another transforming, it'd be interesting to do, like a bit of a comparison between the two. So size-wise, obviously this guy isn't quite as big as this guy, and feeling him in hand, this guy is a little bit heavier. This guy's got a more realistic looking jet mode. I think looks more like a Boeing 747, and this guy is more of a cartoony jet. His proportions are a little bit shunted, or chibified. As in the show, he looks a little bit more realistically proportioned when he's in jet mode, but the toy actually is a little bit more stunted. Looking underneath, obviously, you've got robot bits shoved under. This one's a little bit more successful in hiding its robot junk. You can see the forearms there, but It's pretty good. And this guy, you can see his chest and his legs and his back of his head and stuff like that. Yeah, so 2 transforming jet planes, pretty cool. Fleta Z. Jet mode, it's a black jet, 4 engines. It's got the eyes in the front, because all the metal Cardbott figures, when they're in vehicle mode, they have these eyes that appear on their alt mode, because they can see out. They don't actually have pilots. People don't ride in them. Well, even though in the show Jun does ride around in some of the other metal Cardbotts, from place to place when they're in vehicle mode. But yeah, so there's the jet. Looks like a jet. You can go whoosh, whoosh, whoosh. You can whoosh it around. It doesn't quite hold together particularly well in jet mode. It's a little bit wobbly. I mean, Airhide he's super solid in jet mode, and he feels nice and solid and weighty. This guy, you can see the tail's a little wobbly. Some of the joints don't quite peg together successfully in jet mode, but it is what it is. It has landing gear. It's got a front wheel and it's got back wheels. The front gear can fold up to some extent. The back ones can't, but it's got landing gear, so it's a plane with landing gear. We like to see that when transforming plane. It's got a little bit of kibble on top here with this orange plug, because it's got this panel that comes out that forms one of his accessories, because there's a bit of parts forming going on. His arms are formed from the jet engine, similar to Airhide. It's got a fairly straightforward transformation, which I will get into now, obviously. So yeah, there's not much more you can say about the jet mode. It's a black plane with 4 engines. It's supposed to be a passenger jet. Proportions are a little chibified, and yeah, that's that. Right, so to transform this guy, first of all, like I said, he's got one of his accessories is plugged into the top of his alt mode, and it forms a bit of parts forming. So you just pull this out, and this forms a sword. Though quite why he's got a sword, I don't know, because his card weapon is a bow and arrow. So yeah, that forms that thing for a sword, and then you have this big hole in the top of his alt mode. So right, transforming this guy. Now I like to start, but with the arms. So basically, unplug the arm, and then bring them out straight like that. So you fold that back, and then bring that down like that. Then you open these side panels, and then flip out the turbine on the engine to form the fist. So open that like that, flip that round, and then shut them side panels, and that's that. Now you can start with the upper torso. Now these wing pieces are on like a thing you pull out and twist round. So you pull that out, and then you pull this out as well, and then there's this panel at the back that you open, and then you take the cockpit section, come on, and then you slide it, you sort of slide it back. Okay, so you fold these bits forwards, pull them out, and then move them round, and then they plug in like that. Then this piece folds back, like so. The wheel folds in, turn his head round, and then you pretty much got the top end done. Then you move down to the legs. So the legs, you fold in the wings, split the tail down the middle and fold that in. Then you have these like waist pieces that you just pull them out. Then you split the legs, and then you've got to twizzle the leg round 90 degrees, and then flip it round. Oh no, then there's a panel at the back that you've got to fold out to make clearance, and then you flip the leg round and click it into place. So you spin it round like that and click it into place, and then bring the feet down, and then he's done. And there is a Fleta Z in robot mode, and he looks pretty cool in robot mode. He's got this big sort of eagle chest logo on his chest. He does have one on the side of his jet mode as well. So that's like his sort of personal crest, so to speak. Also, he's got like sort of bird and eagle sort of theming on his headdress, so to speak, on his helmet. That looks pretty cool. Quite a lot of like sort of birdie themed sort of bits on him. It looks pretty cool. A decent amount of colour. He's black and red and gold with bits of silver and some gold. Very cool looking robot mode. And size wise, he's pretty big. Put him next to Combiner Wars Megatron, who's a full sized leader class figure, and he comes up to his chest. But I've also got all the other metal Cardbott figures here for size comparison. So there he is next to Blue Cop. Here he is next to Mega Trucker. So they're reasonably decently sized. Then Mega Ambler. And then Phoenix Fire. The other flying bot. Shadow X. He's a lot smaller. And last month's figure I got, Dexter. So yeah, he is bigger than all the other. He's about the same size. He's about the same size as this guy, as Mega Trucker. So he's a decent size. So yeah, he's pretty cool looking robot. Decently, he looks good. Articulation, he's got a ball jointed head that's goes all the way round, a little bit of forwards and back, a little bit side to side. It's got a decent range of motion. The shoulders, now they're on that thing which goes up and down a little bit. So his arm only goes out that far. Now his arm is attached to the wing, so you know it's on this transformation joint here. Now the arm itself is on this this jointed assembly here. Now there is a rotation there. You then got that bit goes forward like that. That's like the shoulder sort of joint, and that's a shoulder joint. Then you've got the elbow. He's got a deep elbow, and he's got a fist rotation or wrist rotation just below the elbow. So he has got a rotation there and a rotation there. So he's got one up here and one down here, but he hasn't actually got a bicep swivel where you'd expect a bicep swivel to be. So he hasn't got it like here. It's up here. So he can move his arm in and out like that. And then obviously he can turn his fists all the way round. Now this guy, obviously, because he has a bow and arrow, you know, he needs certain joints if he's going to, you know, do bow poses. You know, now he does have his sword, which will fit in one hand, so he can hold that. And obviously, because of the forearm twists, so to speak, he can sort of, you know, do some reasonable sword poses. So that's good. Moving down, he does have a waist joint, though it does this back flap thing does hinder it slightly. So you have to sort of angle this forward a bit, and then you can get, he's got a waist joint. Hips, forwards, back. This thing can get right out of the way to give him a, you know, a full split. Though it does mess other things up. There's a lot of things that sort of get in the way with this guy, and obviously he can kind of do a toes up Van Damme. Right. Now, knees 90 degree. Thigh swivel is below the knee, not above it, so that's a bit weird. You know, normally you'd expect it to be above the knee, but it's below the knee. It's the same with his, like he says, his knee, his elbows. Got a similar sort of deal going on with the joints on his elbows. And then at the feet, he's got the usual sort of, you know, the feet are cut at an angle. You know, sort of like an angle, so he's got like a static sort of A stance. Yeah, he has got joints. They're a bit weird. You can't do what you'd expect to do with the joints that he's got necessarily. That's a bit strange. But speaking of you know, sort of things to do with his articulation. Let's get on to his card weapon. So here's his card, his metal card. Obviously it's got his name, Fleta Z. And then you pull that off. And then you've got his weapon. So we'll start folding this thing out. So get those bits out to the side. And then you fold that out. And then you fold this bit back. And then you've got his bow, and he has a little handle that holds it, that comes out. Now the bow itself has got like a simulated arrow tip on the end. It's got this bird motif on the side, which is pretty cool. And you've got the two sides of the bow, and he can hold it. So because it's got a little handle on the back. So he can hold it like so, and he can hold it in either hand. The handle's a bit loose, so it does wobble around a bit. But like I said, getting him into a bow pose is, you know, it's difficult. He just hasn't got the joints to do it. So yeah, he's an archer. He has a bow, but the joints that he's got doesn't allow him to get any natural sort of bow poses. You see, you can hold it, you can twizzle it round, but he can't, you know, sort of hold it out in front of himself to draw the bowstring to get, because his arms aren't long enough for that. So yeah, it's a bit unusual. The joints on his arms are awkward, and they don't allow you to do the things that you need to do in order to give him some decent bow poses, you know, which is a shame. He's a bit awkward, like you said, his articulation is a bit awkward. I mean, these things don't really lock him successfully. He's got, like I said, he's got quite a stiff ratchet joint up there. He's got the base elbow, and then he's got like an upper arm sort of joint. Kind of weird. Yeah, he's a bit strange. He looks good. Transformation's fairly straightforward. Nice looking robot mode. Big, you know, he's one of the bigger metal Cardbott figures that I've got. He's pretty big. Got weird joints on the arms. Doesn't really work well with his card weapon, his bow. Obviously, you can use his sword, as I showed earlier. You know, you can do some sword posing because he has got, you know, sort of wrist-ish rotations, or forearm rotations. So yeah, he's a bit of a weird one. He's okay. He's all right. It's nice to have another jet plane, transforming jet plane thing, even if it's a bit cartoony. The robot looks pretty cool. He's got a nice gimmick in the show with his archery, even though the toy itself can't actually do anything with a bow that looks realistic or meaningful, which is a bit shame. But yeah, he's not a bad figure. He's all right. I got him reasonably cheap. Well, if you hunt around on Gmarket, you can get it for sort of around about sort of 45 quidish, which is, you know, a decent price for one of these. So yeah, there's my review, such as it is. It's a bit of a mess, this review, to be honest. Of Metal Cardbott's Fleta Z, he's okay, he's all right, but he has a few issues and problems due to the way he's built and designed. So there we go. That's him. Now, obviously, I've mentioned in recent videos that I've done that I'm thinking of quitting YouTube, mainly because I'm getting poor viewing figures on some of my videos, most notably my reviews. I'm not asking for much, you know. It'd be nice if I could get like sort of the 75, 80, 85 views on my videos after 24 hours. That would be enough to keep me going. But just lately, some of my videos have been coming up short on the viewing figures I've been getting. And yeah, this video is an acid test to see whether what me mentioning in previous videos is going to make any effect or have an effect on anything. But I'll be watching closely on the viewing figures of this video to see how it does, and then deciding whether I want to carry on. But I'm going to keep going at least until May, and then I will probably be making my decision one way or another whether it's worth continuing. But anyway, with that said, I've been Twofold Wilderness. Got another Korean toy to review next week, so look forward to that, why don't you? And without more said, that's it for this review. I've been Twofold Wilderness. I'll catch you all later. Goodbye.